Trying to center myself in the screen.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Me and Neil were just practicing. We didn't know when we're on or if we're off. And so Jody gave us a sign, and we'd like to say thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you brought your hot chocolate and your big slippers and your nice robes and your blankets just to be sitting around listening to us. And so we're going to share with you tonight songs and stories. And this is how it was a long time ago. In between Christmas and New Year's, it was a long Christmas. It would start with visiting, and so it became a time when there was exchanging, going visiting, and exchanging gifts. And so we decided to do something like that. And our gift to you tonight is a gift of prayers and love and good words and kind words that our community needs at this time. And so we're going to offer up prayers right now for those that are going through their first Christmas without, I remember those. It's kind of hard, but we get through them. And so we're going to send off our prayers to all those people that this is their first Christmas without their loved ones or a friend. And so we send off prayers. We send off prayers to all our communities that are going through some great changes. And it's a spiritual change. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a changing of our minds and of our spirit and our way of thinking. And so at this time, we give thanks that we are here together. We give thanks that we were blessed with this ability to be with you tonight. And so we give thanks. We send off our love to all of you and to all your families. And it should be like this all the time, not just one time a year. Send off all our love to everyone. It should be a constantly way of life. And to us as Indigenous people, Christmas was every day. Thanksgiving was every day. And so it was a way of always being grateful for what you have, even though you had a rough year or whatever. It was just grateful that you were here, and so we're offering up our prayers to all those that are in need of a prayer, support, guidance, and healing. And so at this time, we put forth our medicines and we send it off to each of the communities and to each individual that may be here and that may not be here. And so we give thanks. We give thanks to our mother who is now resting, getting ready to deliver her love to us, and that is through another change of seasons. And so we give thanks. We look and see all the many blessings that we have received, the blessing of air, the blessing of water. Yes, sometimes our water is not what we'd like, but we still have water where some people don't have water. And so we always have to be mindful, even if it's just a small piece, to be thankful for. And we were talking of a long time ago how all of us have gone through hard times, and so we're giving thanks that resilient is a part of our blood memory, blood mind, as we say. And so we are here tonight to celebrate a day with you, to bring you to this place of a family. And so we give thanks. And we look and we see that all these things are still fulfilling their duty. And so we give thanks. We look and see how the sun and our grandmother moon, they're still fulfilling their duty. We give thanks to all those helpers that are out there that are guiding and watching over us. And so we say thank you. Miigwech, Nyawa. We look and we see that we have been so blessed, as they say, because every morning we wake up, there is the sun, there is the moon, there is the stars, there is the trees. And so we give thanks because we have been blessed with these caregivers for us. And so we say thank you. And, I am so grateful to have this opportunity to be with you. You know, as grandparents and great grandparents, our children are caught up in their lives. And so, in a way, we get to share our lives with you. And like every grandmother and grandfather, we look forward to visiting. And so, we give thanks for that opportunity of bringing back that gift of family. That's what was so important for grandmas and grandpas to be there to share a story to help them through their winters. And so we give thanks. And so it is with all this that the Creator put in plan, because winter was a gift for family, just like every season. But I think it was a very special gift that He gave us the winter, so that we would all sit around the fire, that we would all come together, and we would share, and we'd laugh, and we'd have our meals. We would have a time of making things for our loved ones. And so winter is a time of, He must have really be thinking of well in advance, because people are caught up in so much stress, that He give us a downtime. And I hope every one of you have been taking care of yourself in this time, is to not be, as they say, pushing yourself, but now relaxing. And so we say thank you, Creator, for giving us this winter. Thank you for giving us the, as they say, this changing of the seasons, so that we can grow inwardly as well as outwardly. And so we say, Oho, Nyawa, Miigwech. And so we send off our prayers to all those who are in need of support, guidance, and healing. And so we say, with much love, we send this off to each and every one. And we thank the Creator for making this time possible. And so here we are, another evening with Dutta. So I hope you brought your tea or your hot chocolate or your coffee, or this time of sharing with us. And so I'm going to turn it over to Neil.
Ditto, ditto, ditto. Last time we talked a little bit about bringing things together, and Renee, my good friend Renee, talked about time of rest, the time to learn a few songs, a lot of time to learn a few stories. And I remember we were just getting ready there. We just started up a conversation about what we're going to getting ready to celebrate next week on January the 6th, and we call it Little Christmas. That's been going on for as long as I can remember, and but it's changed over the years. It's changed over the years, and a lot of the things that we used to do back then is a little bit more different from what it is they do today. I remember, I don't know if I told anyone before that when we celebrate Little Christmas, there's always a beginning to it. And that means that when we used to have cattle here a long time ago when I was a little guy. Well, when I was a little guy, a long time ago. And, I think I remember telling some people about this story, and how a cow would be brought, singled out and brought out, and that one is the one that would feed the community at a little Christmas time. There was much going on at that beginning when they did all that. They cut, they did what they had to with the cow, and delivered the meats to all the families, and then the ones that were remained would be delivered to families again the second time. This would be the food that would be brought to the community, the old community hall, which we still have. I don't know how old that building is, but that's where they used to fit a lot of people in there, because there wasn't that many people on the island when I was growing up. When Little Christmas, when we celebrated Little Christmas, and we'd have the roast, and there would be baked potatoes or mashed potatoes or turnip, carrots, all the vegetables you could think of were there. And the upper part of the old hall was designated for the older people, the older folks. And of course, they sent us to the basement, where out of mind, out what is it? Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
But that's where the kitchen was, and we were served by the ladies there. They told us to eat lots because there was a lot of food, and that's what made it really, really great, because of the amount of food that was prepared, and that fed the whole island that day, that evening. That fed the whole island. Everybody came from their homes. Of course, there wasn't that many people on the island back then either. So, and then everybody ate. Nobody went hungry that day. Nobody. And once it was all done, it was that celebration, little Christmas. We used to celebrate with two Christmas trees, what they call on the stage, on each side of that stage. And they were huge trees. They would go up back in the back 40s, back on the island into the bush to get these big trees and bring them down. They'd stand them up. The men would get together, stand them all up. Women would decorate them with the men's help and all this. It was a community. It was a community event. One of the best events that I remember. And the parents would either keep a couple of gifts, and they'd have extra gifts too. So like I was telling Renee that us young guys were called upon to be the elves. They just told us what we had to do. We'd get a box, fill it up with gifts, and we'd go around yelling people's names. Hey, so-and-so, hey, Renee, or hey, Neil, hey, George, hey, all this. And they'd put up their hands and walk over there. They'd come around over to you to get their gift. And they'd open it up. And, oh, man, it was so nice to see all that. And if there was anybody there without a gift, they always had extra. That's the part that I remember. If there was somebody there that didn't get a gift, they would give that gift out. Everybody got something. Everybody got something. That's the way it was back then, way back. I think we could still do that. I think we could still do that kind of stuff. And when I think about all that and all those things, all those the women prepared the food, the men got the tree, got everything ready. That's the way it used to be. Mm-hmm. And of course, us kids, we'd have to help also by giving out those gifts, and then we would be able to, it's not that we were going to be tossed out the hall if we didn't help. It's just that's kind of one of the expectations of helping, is giving out those gifts to people. All the little ones, the little wee ones running around, and everybody was it looked like a little riot in a little building, a little stone building we call our community hall, and everybody having fun doing that. And it was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time. So, and then I think about the ones that, when Renee was talking, my good friend Renee was talking about the ones that had moved on into that spirit world. We have to kind of think about them too, because they were part of that. They were part of that great celebration. They were the ones who helped make that celebration become what it was, a celebration of good life, a celebration of remembering how to help each other. And that celebration of doing all these things was something that, I still try and help as much as I can myself, even at this time, because everything's changed, like I said. But when I do help, the way I help is I sing. I try to sing for people, especially when all these things come up, all this grief comes up, because again, like I said, there's a lot of, like when Renee said that, there's a lot of people who are missing their loved ones at this time. I too have missing someone when it comes to Christmas time. But I managed to hold on, do the things I can do for people. Like I was saying to Renee earlier, I said 2 months, maybe 3 months of hard work getting all these gifts and getting them all wrapped, and in 10 minutes it's over. All over paper, all over the place. Don't lose that belongs to that part. Oh, don't lose that belongs. But that's the beauty of it. You watch these little ones opening them and grab the hold of that gift. This is for you. And they rip it open. Oh, like that. That's the part of Christmas that I remember. That's the part of that. Even though it's more of now, it's what you call, I forget what it's called. There's a name for it now. Never mind. Anyway, but when you watch those young ones open their gifts, and you think about Santa, my grandchildren, I tell them about Santa. I said, Santa dropped these off last night. He forgot to leave those off at your house. Then sometimes a young person will say, there's no such thing as Santa. Oh, I said, yes, there is. There is a Santa.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember something, I said. You have to remember something, I said. Santa's in here, in your mind.
Yeah.
Santa's in your heart. And Santa is that part of giving and understanding what giving really means. That's who Santa is, I said. Because Santa Claus is not our culture, but we have adopted Santa Claus because of our people way back used to do the same thing Santa does now. That part of giving and understanding about the beauty of children and the looks on their faces when they receive these gifts. And then when we look at, then we think about the ones like who have moved on into that spirit world. They watch us as we go through this process. For me, the other day, I just kind of got kind of angry with Christmas because I was doing it alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd go shopping. I'd go to town. 3 days in a row, I went to town. And 3 days in a row, I didn't do nothing to bring anything back home. And one day, I think I remember sitting down and I said, I can't do it. All of a sudden, it's like somebody gave me a good spiritual slap. Woke me up, kicked me in the butt. Next thing I know, I'm buying all these things for the kids, all my grandchildren, great grandchildren, my daughters, and making sure that everybody had something. Just the way it was at Little Christmas. The way everybody needed, all the gifts that were there were given out to those people, and I gave out to my grandchildren. And that's what I see, and that's what I think about Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a beautiful, is in our mind and in our hearts, and that are part of that giving, knowing what that giving means, sharing what you like. For me, when I do things, we spend a little bit of this and a little bit of that just to see our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren see the happiness and the joy in them. Because that's what Christmas is all about. Sharing in that joy of everything. I wanna sing this bear song and sing this bear song for the ones that who have lost somebody at that time, and that they're not here with them for Christmas Day, that they're watching out for us still. Then we think about that stars. We look out into those stars and we see the beauty and the sparkling. I thought about that one day, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness. And I don't know, these thoughts always pop into my head, and as I'm sitting there thinking about this, when I talk about how the Spirit is given a special place in the stars. There's there's not one spirit dwells in. There's many spirit that dwells in one of those stars. That's their special place for them. And when you see them sparkling at night, that's them smiling. That's them with the eyes. Their eyes are not glowing, but how sometimes you see happy eyes. Well, that's what it is, right? That happiness. So I want to sing this bear song, and I want to just to acknowledge those ones that have passed on into that spirit world, and the ones who are watching over us as we go through these holidays and Christmas and the art of giving and knowing of who we are. Can you hear that, Renee?
Mm-hmm.
Way high, oh, way high, oh, Yahweh, oh, hey, oh. Way high, oh, way high, oh, Yahweh, oh, hey, oh. Yahweh, oh, hey, Yahweh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Yahweh, oh, hey, Yahweh, Yahweh, oh, hey, oh. Ane do makwa, o gabina mose. mignan. We-ay-ah-oh, Yahweh, oh, we-ay-ah-oh, Yahweh, oh, Yahweh, 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 oh, Yahweh, 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 on it, oh, Makwa, oh, Gaminagote, on it, oh, Makwa, oh, Gijo and Mignan,
Mm.
That's a little, that's kind of like a healing song for all of us who have lost somebody and who are not here at this time of this celebration of Christmas or Little Christmas or even New Year's. Me, I don't celebrate New Year's. I go to bed at my usual time, 9:30. My wife used to wake me up. She says, "Hon, aren't you going to stay up with me for New Year's?" I said, "Oh, I'm so tired, hon. I tell you what," she said, "I'll come and wake you up 5 minutes before." I'd be sleeping away, and all of a sudden she'd be, "Hon, 5 more minutes. Come on, come on." I'd, okay. So I'd get up, and she'd have a little snacks on the table there, popcorn, peanuts, and stuff like that. Getting ready for that the ball to drop. I think we were watching the one from New York. You know that
Yeah.
the ball that drops. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were watching that. Oh, she'd go like this. Oh, like that. And it was so much fun watching her do that and watching her do that. But you know what? And like I said, I still do. I still grieve. But you know what? I embrace it. I embrace my grief. And when I hold on to it just for a little moment, then I feel good. Then I let it go again.
Yeah.
Because it'll always be there. It's never going to go away. It's
Yeah.
never ever going to go away. It'll always be part of you because that remembering my wife and remembering your relatives who have moved on, they're the ones who are coming to you,
Yeah.
letting you just to remind you that they're still around. And that's what I believe. That's what that grief is. Just to
Yeah.
remind you that they're still around and they're still going to be around no matter what, right? Till your time goes.
Yeah.
But you know what? And then so I look at that, but when you think about Christmas, them not being here, that was the toughest thing for me. Because, like I said, 3 days I wasn't able to do nothing. But finally, somebody came along, and I believe it was my wife. Of course, she would probably be the only one to do that, and gave me a spiritual push, and I got things done.
Yeah.
And I had an elf here who I can't rap. I cannot rap. Oh my gosh. I can do the small ones, but those big ones, oh man, I get frustrated. I remember one day, I remember my wife asked me, she says, "Neil, can you come and help me rap?" "I don't know how to rap, hon." I said, "Give it a try." Okay. And then I start rapping. You know how that Scotch tape? You pull it out there and then you cut on your fingers, and I'm trying to pull it up. I go like that. "Never mind. Give it to me." And that's what she'd say. And you know what? And but I told her I'd do the small stuff if I could help her. But she always used my finger, put it on the center of the bow when she tied it down. But that's one of the things I remember, and when I remember all those things that we used to do together in the shop, and but sometimes, like I said, the grief creeps up on you when it comes to that time close to Christmas for me. And but again, like I said, I embrace it. I have to. I embrace it. Once I embrace it, then I know that I'm going to be okay because that's the way it is. I got Renee, my good friend. We don't talk much too often, but we do know where we are.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the point right there. You know where everybody is. That friendship, that relationship, that friendship that we have is something special. That it's kind of like Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Christmas. That friendships that we have, because that friendship will always continue on forever for as long as I can, for as long as I'm here and
Yeah,
beyond.
me too. Me too.
Yeah, exactly, right. So anyway, I just wanted. Then I'll sing another song after we hear from my my older sister.
Okay, I got her.
Hey, my friend, take it away.
Yeah, okay. So when you're thinking about Christmas, I had an amazing Christmas this year. Well, every year is amazing, and with me, I have created a tradition because when we were growing up, there was wrapping paper was hard to come by, and my mom would always say, "You got to say that, you got to say that." She she had this way of telling us, we got to use that paper next year, or you're going to just have newspaper because we were so and so I got in this habit of saving. It's a tradition I haven't forgot, and my kids look at me every Christmas. I'm always going very carefully opening my present. I use a knife, and so they just get impatient with me, and he says, just rip it, just rip it. And I says, no, this is the way I've been taught to always save the paper. So now they laugh at me at every Christmas because you got to save grandma's papers. You got to save grandma's bags. I said, yeah, because it's a magic bag. It keeps returning and it's got something new in it. So the new ones that have come into my family, I have my granddaughters, their partners, and they said, "You got to say that paper, that's grandma's magic bag." So now I said, "We'll see what I can fill it up with for next year." So it's going to be a habit. So when I go, they're going to be thinking, "Gosh, we better save that paper, or Grandma's going to come and bop us in the head," because they just throw. So this year at Christmas, at my son and his daughters and their boyfriends were with us, and so our the crowd was getting bigger, and so there's going to be a lot of wrapping paper all about. So before we start, I went around and give each one of them a garbage bag. I said, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, so that they could fill up their bags with the garbage bag. It helped me to clean up the area after. But Christmas is creating memories so that it helps us to get through some rough times. And those rough times this is why I'm so grateful for all the memories that I have of Christmas. It helped me get through a lot of times, and even during this time, you feel. And one of the I feel kind of just like Neil said, my friend Neil said. He said you get in that kind of, but it's that moment of just remembering, and then you get through it. And the most important thing is that you have someone. It's just like today I was feeling overwhelmed by all the sadness in our community, and I believe my daughter, she's in the spirit world, and she knew how I was feeling, and just like Neil has his partner, and so I was feeling kind of in a slump there, and lo and behold, a friend called me, and she says, I've been thinking about you. I think you need me to do something for you. And I says, oh my God. In the meantime, I was calling around to see if someone could do massage for me, and to break that feeling that I had. And since she lives way far away, she said, "We're going to do this." And sure enough, look at me today. Look at me right this moment. It's amazing. And I believe my daughter had talked to her, and she called me, and she helped me. She just talked over the phone. She did a ceremony for me to restore my spirit, to brush all that off of me that I was holding on to. And so I drifted off to sleep. And when I woke up, I felt very light of all that being lifted up. And so our ancestors are always, they're, we get sad because they're not here. But, we're always told, I remember my dad said this, the most powerful medicine is the love that we have for each other. And that love can reach between two worlds. And I know it for a fact that it does. I'm proof, Neil's proof, you are proof. Because sometimes in our life, something happens that somebody comes out of the blue and says, "Do you need help?" or offers something. And that's what Christmas is all about too. It's that relationship between the spirit world and us here on the earth plane. And that love continues. And yes, it's just like, a bump in the head sometimes, and you just laugh. Christmas, we have to remember that it is a time of sharing. Sometimes you don't have to have much, and it's from your heart. It's from your heart. And it's not materialistic things, it's from the heart. And what you have in your, I can recall every present I have from all the ones that was given to me. I can just go off with just like a dictionary. This is who I got from who, and it's because of that love or that friendship that we have had. And it helps. And it's so sad today because a lot of people, they just throw away the great grandmother's dishes. They throw away all those, when it comes, when the loved one passes on, they throw away all that those memories of their great grandmothers that they, yeah. I have my great grandmother's plates and her bowls, and my grandchildren would say, "Oh, what are you doing with those bowls? Those they don't look, you know, up to date." And I says, "No, they served a lot of good meals. They served a lot of good meals. Just holding that bowl was just like, I could smell it, I could taste it, I could feel my grandma's love, or my mother's love, and all those things." And one of the things that I always laugh, I know my mother's around because somebody will open to their present. We have a big family. I have a big family, and we get together every Christmas Eve. But now we're going to change it to the 23rd because it's more relaxing. And when people start opening their present and they find a price tag on it, that's when I have to laugh because my mom would always do that. So I said, "Hey, you guys, it's just from mom. She forgot to take off the price tag." So you create those memories. So it's almost like unwrapping a present and you find something, and grandma's here. And it creates that memory. And today, I mean, this past Christmas, we had to have our Christmas at another place. Um, my dad was a veteran. He was president of the veterans, Six Nation veterans. And because of our family was getting larger and larger each year, we had to go to a hall to have our Christmas, to the Veterans Hall. And each year it got bigger. So eventually they started adding on. And it was very accommodating. And because our dad was a president for so many years, and because of my responsibility to my mom and dad was to keep the Veterans Club going, I became a secretary for, I would say, almost 10 presidents of the veterans. And so in that part, they give my family, our family, the the honor of having our the continuation of having our Christmas at the Veterans Hall. And so all the little ones that have come now, they always, when they see Christmas, to them, it's the Veterans Hall. That's where Grandma and Grandpa are. So this year we had to have it at a gathering place. It's a beautiful place, mind you. It's a beautiful place, but there was something missing, and that's what the kids said. The younger ones said, "It's not the same. There's something missing." And I said, "Yeah, it is something missing." And so as you see, you create those memories to help our children to get through. You create those silly moments. You create those um, moments that you laugh about and what happened on Christmas, your gathering. And this year, my sisters, we plan everything, and my nieces now they take over. The younger one's taken over, and we had this giant. They marked it on the floor. They made this big X and O layout, and they had three for two teams of three, and one team had a paper plate, a white paper plate, and the other team had a red cup. And so, and then on the drop of the hand, they were to go and place their cup or their plate on one of those squares. Oh my God, I just busted gut laughing. They were sliding, it's just like sliding in to make those, put that plate down to get X and O's, the straight line or whatever. And I said, gosh, you guys, why aren't you using logic? Using logic. And they looked at me. I says, why don't you start at this end so that the person, I mean, start at the very end of the X and O's at the top so that the last person won't have to run so far and can put it right there. Oh, so we create a lot of games. We do a lot of games, do a lot of activities. So we had a lot of tables there. We made each table had a different game. We play board games. We'd bring out our board games, and we also had in the past we had our own Santa, but he's no longer with us. He journeyed on. It was my nephew, our nephew, and so Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, this is a time we are to rebuild our spirit back up, to get us ready for the coming year. And that is by laughter, by visiting. You know, even going out in that snow, it's a gift. Did you know that coal needs to touch your third eye because it stimulates, it's almost like a button to prepare you to build up your immune system. So the more you get that blast of that cold air, the more you're going to be more resilient. And so Christmas Eve, we had on the 23rd, that's when the storm hit here. It was terrible. It was, they called the big spirit moon time. Well, what they meant was those big whirlwinds of the snow going across the roads. What they call today is whiteouts. And so my son calls me up and says, "Ma, I don't think you should go today." And I go, but I knew I had to go there, and everybody was concerned about the weather, and I said, "I'll be there, not to worry." So here I was. I was the first one there, and in all this storm and everything, and my nephews and the younger ones were looking at me. I said, "Where is everybody? The snowplows are circling me, so get here." They're getting the land cleared off, and you know what they told me? They reminded that all the traveling that I do in all kinds of weather, that they said, "You must have the Creator driving for you." And I said, "I surely do." I said, "He's got me through many, many times, and I said, He has brought me always home, because that's that relationship between the two worlds. So, and those songs that we need. How many like Christmas? Isn't that when we hear a lot more songs of a lot of good memories? How many of you remember your Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? You learn that at a very young age. How many of you know White Christmas? You know, those songs are warming our hearts, and that's what I like. Warming our hearts to build that fire within us. To even, even the times when you're sad, hearing that song kind of wraps around you. And yeah, it sometimes it's hard, but just to know that those are loving memories and they're going to hold you. They're going to keep you strong so that you can continue on. And so I think we're ready for another song. Don't you think we are, everyone?
No, not yet. No, I was. I have this new song, and it came. It's been a while before I could get it out. And it talks about that Creator is. He's with us. Eh? We don't kagonan. We don't kagonan, which means Creator is helping us, and it's kind of what we're talking about here. Is that He comes to us in different ways, right? In different ways, and then the other part of that song goes Wijoganan, meaning He is walking with us or He's traveling with us. And kind of like what Renee said when she goes traveling, Creator is always with her to guide that vehicle or to make sure that road that she's on is straight and true and safe. And when I first heard this a while back, a couple of years ago is when I first heard the tune coming. And people ask me sometimes, do you make those up? I said, not really. I said, they just pop into my head and I end up start singing them. I said, and, oh, really? I said, and they said, where does this come from? I said, well, it comes from the spirit world. It comes from that spirit land out there that you see. I said, the trees, everything. Now, when we talk about winter, for me, growing up in the wintertime, we were always given that one teaching is that we have to be ready especially around wintertime, we have to be ready for anything that happens during that winter time.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about that, the warnings that were sent out. I think it was about 3 or 4 days prior to that storm. And that's when everybody should have had a hunkered down, got everything ready and set up, right? Well, I did anyway. We did here. I made sure that the generators were all fired up and ready to go and everything else, and made sure that everybody had what they needed. And then we hunkered down. And, again, like I said, when we were growing up, we had a lot more snow than we have today back then.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more snow. And I understood that, I hate, something that happens all the time, but we have to remind ourselves that we had the warnings. Even creation gave us those warnings.
Mm-hmm.
Even creation gave us those warnings. And then all of a sudden it came. Over here in our community, and I think the community of the winds here were over 100 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
And we could hear them. We could hear that wind just howling. We were without a boat, the boat wouldn't go over for a couple of days. I would say about 80 to 100 kilometers an hour. We lost power around for about an hour and a half or so, but it came back on, which was, again, we were being looked after. We were being looked after by those men who were looking after that hydro lines, making sure that nobody would freeze. I feel bad for the ones that died in that storm down in Buffalo or anywhere else.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for that. I feel bad for that. And, I have to acknowledge that because we have to remind ourselves, winter is a time to rest. Winter is time to go into your homes, hunker down, whether it's storming or not. You can go outside, sure. But always remember when they say, aha, bibi nagik, which means, okay, come on in now and settle down. And sure enough, wind would come. Back then, our houses weren't one of the strongest houses that we ever had. They were tar paper shacks and, wind blew right through the windows. And, I'd be sleeping at the bottom of the window. I'd be waking up next morning across the other side of the house. Those are the kind of houses we had. But you know what? We survived.
Yeah.
We survived. We were given that teaching from our parents, our grandparents, our aunties, uncles. Every one of them told us this is what's going to happen. So be ready. Mind you, the stove would go out. You'd be under 2 or 3 blankets, and you're still warm.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning. Your dad would get up in the morning, make the fire, or your mom would get up in the morning, make the fire, and then they'd be warm, and then you were able to move around again. And that was it all about. And so when we talk about Creator, we talk about how He helps us, how He comes to us. We don't call one on. Kashem the do we don't call one on. Creator is helping us. Kashem the do we juganan, meaning Creator is walking with us, or He's traveling with us. And now I can't remember the song. Oh my goodness! It always happens that way.
Yeah.
It'll come. It'll come.
Yeah, it'll come. Not to worry.
Not to worry, because
Yeah.
that's the other part of that too. And like
Yeah. Not to worry.
sometimes, we get the girls. I used to sing with. We used to have a drum group after our first drum group disbanded, and we always, what was that song called? We don't remember. Well, somebody sing. Well, somebody wrap up another one, get another one going, so we can try and remember. Sure enough, they'd sing a song. We'd remember the song. So. But that was a lot of fun. That's the beauty of singing. You bring people together. You laugh. Sometimes when you're singing to people that don't understand your language, you can make a mistake, and they won't even know you made that mistake because you just keep on singing. And if you remember the next verse, you bring it back into that verse, and then you switch it around and bring it back again. And that's how I teach my the people I sing with sometimes. If there's a mistake, then we go through it. We walk right through it. We continue on. Then we get to the end of that verse, and when we start up again, then we remember that where we made the error, but we sing right through that again. So that's how songs come together. They bring people together. They bring laughter. They bring when we were singing at St. Marie among the Hurons here in Midland, called the Candlelight Tours. We used to get the people there singing loud. There were songs that we sang the dancing song, especially that dancing song. We got them to sing that dancing song, so they really enjoyed it, and we had the whole place just a hopping. And there was that what do you call that? Rebuilt longhouse that we were doing this in, and we sang in there, and we had people singing with us. And that was one thing that really I enjoyed. You could hear them singing. You could hear them laughing. They could hear them wanting to learn more about what does that song really mean, like the dancing song. When you're singing that dancing song, it kind of goes through there like this. I don't... Wanna di moyan, 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 wanna di moyan. We are on a knee boy, 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 on a knee boy. We are ni moyan, wanna 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 ni moyan. Every time I sing that song, I get it. But that song talks about who we are. We're dancers.
Yeah.
It talks about dancing. And that's only a one-word song. Wana Nimoyan. Where I am going to dance is what it's saying.
Oh,
Where I am going to dance. I'm going to dance over there. I'm going to dance over there. I'm going to dance in the clouds. I'm going to dance in the sky. I'm going to dance in my heart. I'm going to dance in my mind. That's what that song was. And it's just one word. That one word,
wow.
it describes every part of your being. It describes all part of creation where you want to dance, where you want to be able to do that, where you want to be able to dance in powwows. All those things are there. Right? And so that one word means a whole lot. I want to dance in your mind. I want to dance in your heart. I want you to dance in my mind. I want you to dance in my heart. That's what that song is actually saying.
Wow.
Even though it's just one word, wana ni mo yan. I want to dance this way. I want to dance over there. I want to dance over here. I want to dance there, like that. And when we look at and close our eyes and see those dancers dancing when I sing that song, that's one of the things I get people to do when I sing that song. I said, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to see yourself dancing. I want you to see the other people dancing. I want you to see the spirits dancing because they do come to you in that song. Wana Nemo Ya, where I want to dance. I want to dance this way. I want to dance the jig. Or maybe I want to do a two-step or something, or a crow hop, or maybe I want to do something else. But the other part of that too is that we also have to look at the other society as the way they dance. My wife and I sometimes when my wife was here, I come down in the kitchen. She'd be there busy getting things ready. Then I turn her around, and without no music, we would dance, even just for a couple of minutes, And she would say, "Oh, that was so nice, hon. Thank you," she'd say. So that dancing, it plays an important role in who we are. It plays an important role in our communication with creation as well. And when we hear that song, Wana Nemo Ya, oh man, sometimes I couldn't do it hard and fast here. But if we do that in a circle someplace and meet with you, maybe one day some of us will all meet. And you'll say, "Hey Neil, sing that dancing song you sang over there. Which one? Little Brown Jug. Pick a while you work." But that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Wana Nemo Ya. Where I want to dance. This is how I want to dance, and this is where I want to dance. I want to dance with my friend Renee. I want to dance with my good friend Jody. I want to dance with all of you that are out there in virtual land. I want to be able to, be able to do that for you. And that's the beauty of that song. I want to Nemo Yan. Wanna Nemo Yan, 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 wanna Nemo Yan. And that's that song. Where I want to
You.
again, like I said, you see the clouds, you want to dance in the clouds, right? Because the
Mhm.
clouds are above us and they float gently by. Oh, we'd be dancing up there and dancing up the storm. You see the clouds, and probably our spirit, our ancestors are up there in those clouds as well. And when you hear the dancing song, or you hear the powwow songs, or you hear some kind of powwow music or songs, you can see those clouds roll. They either go like this or they go back the other way. And so that's that song. Wananimoyan, I want to dance, a dancing song. And when we bring that dance, sometimes brings us all together. See, for me, there's one song I love, the Haudenosaunee song, and that's that one, the smoke dance, the smoke dance. Well,
Yes.
every time I hear that, I try to get close to see them dancing, and you see what happens. It's drawn me to them,
Yeah.
to that song they are singing, that smoke dancing. Oh man, I love that. I really love it. I can't do it. I'd be probably an emergency or on oxygen somewhere. But that's one of their songs that I really enjoy listening to. I really enjoy listening to it because I may
Yeah.
not know the words or what their meanings are, but I really enjoy it. That's what draws me to some of the songs that my friends of the Haudenosaunee Nation sing, because every song is different. The Crees have their own
Yeah.
song. Ojibways, Mohawk, Oneida. They all have songs. We all have them. And that's what draws us together. It's like a magnet, right? It's
Mhm.
like a magnet. You hear a song, you look over there, all of a sudden you're walking over there. Or you hear a song to the other side, and then you're walking that way. You're going to go and see what's going on. And that's what it is. And that's like, you see those little kids sometimes, especially
Yes.
what can I use as oh, when they do the Christmas concerts. When they do the Christmas concerts, Papa, are you coming to my Christmas concert? Yeah, I'll be there. Okay, okay. And their mom and dad are there because when my kids were growing up, we used to always go to their Christmas concert here on the island, and we'd go sit down in our chairs, and you see them coming across the stage, and then all of a sudden they'd stop and get ready, but then they're looking for you, and they're looking like this, looking like
Yeah.
that, looking for you. See, where's your mom? And then they see you, and then they go like this. You wave back, and you big smile, and that's the same thing with songs. People are drawn by those songs because you look up like this, like a child, and you hear it and you feel it. You can feel it in here. This is where everything is right there.
Yeah.
The most central part of your being, right
Yeah.
there in the middle. So when you want to hear that song again, you remember that you want to dance. If you're going to dance, you're going to dance. But sometimes some people dance even when they're sitting down. Never underestimate that.
Yeah.
Because you get their old feet to just a hopping along there. For me, I wouldn't be able to keep up with some of those dancers over there. Not anymore, anyway. But you know what? that songs bring people together.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on in your life, you have to remind yourself, I need to learn the song, even if it's just one song. And that's how I teach. I teach these songs that I carry. I give them to the people when they want them, because the songs came to me and I have to pass them on. And I do. I do. And if they want to learn about that song, heck, all you got to do is give me a shout on FB. We can go on, what do you call that, video chat, and we can sing together.
Mhm.
As simple as that. I'm not afraid to help you out with that. But remember, my lines are only open for a little while, 9 o'clock to 9:05 p.m.
Short song.
Short song, yeah. Shorten that up, you know. But again, like I said, that dancing song is if I was to sing it in a group, it'd be a little bit faster than because it starts slow, then all of a sudden the energy picks up, and then all of a sudden everything goes in, and then all of a sudden you're really moving, and that's when that everything cuts, all that energy comes out.
Yeah.
All the energy goes out to the people that are sitting in that circle, and they feel it. But you have to have you have to be your mind and heart must be in it in order to enjoy some of these songs. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it's something maybe you need to think about. Basically, like I almost got Renee's dancing there. I
Yeah.
watched her with one eye open. We go like that.
Just go like this.
Anyway, yeah, or go like that.
Are you
Ojibwe rap. Ojibwe rap. Okay, Renee, take it away.
All right. Oh,
I'll be
thank
right
you.
back. I'll
All
be
right.
right back.
You're going out dancing now, are you?
I gotta go get a drink of water.
Yes, music is, that's why at Christmas you hear a lot of songs. Um, Even in our communities, I think a lot of indigenous communities are bringing back their socials, times of dancing. And oh, wow. When Neil was talking about the smoke dance, oh man, I love that. I love it. I can't stand still. And my feet go, my body moves to that. It's just like, ah, because it does, it brings change completely over you. It just like our bodies know, our bodies were made to move. And when we have the right tunes, oh my gosh, we are some smooth dancers out there, I'll tell you. And music, this is what I used to share with the ones that would come to our treatment center. I was saying, um, the reason we're into like taking pills for our problems was they banned it music. And when they banned music, we weren't able to remove that, release that energy, that negative energy of being frustrated, angry, and all those. And so when we played our music, we would get up and we dance, and that energy of dancing. And when you come to our socials and they go around and around and around, it's just like a heartbeat. Oh, gee, it's just powerful. It just builds up your immune system, and you keep dancing. And when you were talking about going faster and faster, well, we have a dance. It's called a stick dance, and it's the only thing they use is a stick. And they'll start slow and they'll sting, and then they start. Each round gets a little faster and little faster and little faster. Those are aerobics, and it goes real fast. And then we're really giving her. We're just, you could just see even the older people, they just love it. And then it starts to slow down. So it starts to slow. That's the last dance. So there's no more after that one. They can be singing all night, and when that stick dance comes up, that's the last dance. And so you get up now, because then you're going to completely ground yourself again. And so that, when you go to a social and you come out, you see everybody's faces just glowing. And that's what was taken away from us, because that's what we use to help us to be more resilient, to help us to get through anything. And so I was taught to dance at a very young age. My parents, my great grandfather, my grandmothers, my grandfathers, they loved music. They loved dancing. I was born into music, and one time I was doing a teaching, and Well, there was a young lady in our group, in my group, and I knew her from our community. And she says, I was talking about music, how it was a gift of build bringing up our spirit. And I told her the story how why we turned to drugs and alcohol, because the music was taken away from us. And we need to bring that back to help us get through these times when we're feeling sad. And that's plays a very important role. I says we didn't need aspirins, we didn't need Tylenols, we didn't need painkillers, because once that music hit us, it got us. It just lifted us, feeling so energized. It really did wonders. And when at the treatment center, well, we did the history of music, and how it came and why it came. We all have our stories. Who gave it to us was nature to help us to get through rough times. And so this music was given to us by the raindrop. It started that hand drum, the sound of the beat. It came through a lot of even the woodpecker. And I think that's what it's, then you hear that woodpecker go faster. And so I think about the stick dance. So nature and the robin dance, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. And when the clients, we would I asked for music on Friday nights because they were used to going out. So I said, well, we'll still have music. And so what we did was, at first they didn't want to get up and dance. They didn't want to dance. But by the third week, they were up dancing. They were up dancing. And that, they said, I never felt so good in my life, because they said, I didn't think music could do that to me. And being sober, they said, and enjoying the music. And so I'm glad we were gifted with that gift to help us to be resilient. And so that's one way of building up your immune system. And one way of getting your chores done in a faster way is get up there, because that's how I used to see my grandma. She would get up there and say, and she said, whenever you're feeling down, my girl, she says, put that song on and you'll dance and you'll feel a lot better. And things that what is ever troubling you will, it's just gone. And so she said, you'll feel different all over. And so that's what I am so grateful for, because my great grandfather gave me that message to bring music into the treatment center, because I was thinking seriously about it. And so I went to my ED and I asked her, and I said, can I bring music on Friday nights? And I said, our social songs and our dances. She says, that's a good idea. And then she said, look at that drum up there. And I looked at that drum, and she said, this was given to me by my father, by his best friend, to keep hold of it till he knows when to give it back. And she told me who her father's best friend was, and that best friend was my great uncle, that he was holding my great grandfather's drum, my water drum. And so she gave it to me. And so you see, the ancestors are really guiding us back to helping us get through. And I'm so grateful that Neil sings. That's the first, when I heard him sing, I was attracted to him just like a fly on a wall. Because as soon as I heard singing, I went, oh my gosh, I love that. I love that about him, and how he brings that magic to the people, and see the change in them. And music is a gift that was given to us by nature. And I often think of the sun dances, how that whirlwind is, that whiteout, and that's how fast it seems when our dancers. Oh my gosh, some of those dancers, they don't seem like they're touching the ground. They just seem like that whiteout just going. And the way they dance and hold themselves, it's just like ballet, how they hold themselves and how they carry themselves. And it's all in us. We just have to say, go with it. And so, to music, I'm very grateful that you are here, that ancestors send it to us through revitalization. And that was one of the things that when those children were found, we had a ceremony for them. We had finished out that healing garden, and one of the grandmothers said, she said, now the children are dancing. They want us to dance again. And so, um, if there is a, I think that's why New Year's has gone to another part of celebrating. So just think of, at this time, light a fire for New Year's, light a fire for peace. Light that fire for, it's just like all of us coming together. We're putting down our logs to create this great big circle. And what we created was this awareness, light, and that New Year's, and they all say New Year to us. We always hollered New Year, New Year, New Year. We would go out early in the morning. We have our traditions. We would have us. They have socials in the evening on New Year's Eve, and the next morning you had to be up and out on getting the best donuts in your community. You knew where the best donuts were made, and so you would go off and collect it because you had to be done by noon. So these are things that play a very important role that we need to bring back to show our children how to be more resilient with what we have. And we are the richest people because what we have, the earth still doing its duty, looking after us. And so dancing is a way nature had taught us how to celebrate life. I like it when I see the wind, the snow. That's what my grandmother said. Ah, they're dancing because we're going to have another, they're preparing the land for another year. So thank you, Neil, for bringing those songs. It plays a very important role tonight in many people's life. And so that is the heartbeat of us. So,
Yeah, you're right. I think I got that song now.
good.
We don't go down. We don't go down. We just go down. kabunan, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, hey we just gone on way, hey ya, hey hey ya, hey Again, that's that's one of the songs that's been in my head for a couple of years, and I finally brought it out not too long ago. And then that's one of the things that we have to remind ourselves of all the time, that Creator is there with us. We don't kagonan, He's helping us, but we just have to keep our minds open and our hearts open to see that. Because every time we need to pray more often. We need to pray more often. And that's one of the keys. And also sing. If you know a song, sing. Open that heart, open that doorway that leads to the heart. Open that doorway that leads to that good mind. And then all those things that come in there, all those good things will start flowing inside you. And it just keeps going over as you breathe. As you breathe in, you breathe out. You're sending that old stuff out as you bring the new stuff in. And the same thing with the songs. When the songs hit you, they hit pretty good sometimes. They hit pretty hard because there's something about that song that you connect with, or some people will connect with other songs. Not just my song, but I don't mean my songs, our songs. Let me put it that way. Connect with our songs. And then that's one of the things. When that song came, I wondered why. And the messages that are coming through that song, that's where the messages come from, is from Creator to the singer and out to the people. We do kagunan, we jogunan. Creator is helping us. He is also walking with us. Kind of like what Renee said, that the Creator is always with her, helping her out. We jogunan, we do the Ouija one. So he's going with Renee. Creator is looking after her on her trip to go help people. Anyway.
So well, I want to apologize to everybody. I just noticed, so I guess the ancestor said, check the comments. So I finally turned on the comments, and they wanted to know if you ever snagged a rabbit.
A what?
A rabbit.
Snagged a rabbit.
Yeah. You're going
rabbit trapping.
Uncle, have you
snared a rabbit? Snared a rabbit.
Yeah.
A long time ago. Yeah, a long time ago when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was shown how to do that. And it's pretty neat how that works. You set up the wire and go like that, put it up like that, and the thing pulls it there, and you go there a couple of days later, and there it is. I've even eaten that rabbit. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, we were taught some of all that stuff when we were growing up. It was part of our way of living, especially when you lived on an island. Mind you, we didn't have big game here on the island back then when I was growing up, but we had a lot of rabbits.
Those rabbits were quite big too. Those jackrabbits.
Oh yeah, there were no little ones. They looked like a cow sometimes. No, I did snare a rabbit once. I was taught how to do that. So.
Yeah, they're they got some real. Jody has me just say, elders have stories to share whether or not they had kids. That's true. Because it was a gift of sharing whatever you had. Did you turn it on the comments?
Yeah, I just did. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're old school, so forgive us. We forget there's things like that to that you can speak with us. Yes, I laugh at my own jokes. What better way? My grandma did, my mom did, so I just pass it on tradition. I love it.
Same thing with me. Like I said, I passed those songs on that I received.
Yeah.
When I started again, like I said, to some people already know my story. Where I started my journey was back in 1988 when we had our first sweat lodge here. That's where my spiritual journey began. That's where I started my walk, is Zen, and I've learned a lot over that period of time. I've learned how to help people. I've learned how to take care of women. I learned how to take care of the children, or try to do the best I can, because I never grew up that way.
Yeah.
I never grew up that way. But now I do now, but I want to try and take care of as many people as I possibly can. But only remember though, 9 to 9:05 p.m. That's the limit. No.
There's another question. Where did you grow up?
Who they talking to? You or me?
You. That's one of the questions they're asking you. Where did you
Where
grow up, Uncle?
where did I grow up?
Yeah.
I grew up here on Christian Island. I grew up here on the island where I come from. Chibata Singh, we call it. And most of my life was spent here. Most of my life was spent here. So I grew up on Christian Island.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, any other questions?
No, they're just commenting. A lot of comments
Love
on
dancing, somebody says. Oh, yeah.
that.
I love watching people dance, but I also use, like I said, when I dance, I sit on my chair and I do my, what, how you tap your foot on the floor. That's my
Yeah.
dancing.
Yeah, we
Facebook.
used to. Oh, good. Someone had put, thank you. I'm listening and laughing and singing and dancing along. Oh, must be alone in my house out in the virtual land.
Out in
Thank you.
virtual. You. Way to go.
Yeah.
But you can, like I said, there's some people say that they can't sing, but they really can.
Yes.
They really can sing. Because again, like I said, if people want to know sing in that language, all you have to do is one word. Then you're well on your way. That's what I always tell everybody. If you know one word in the language, you're well on your way.
Hmm.
And that because that's part of the key. That's like that little key. Get that door open. Anyway, where
Yeah.
are we now? I do that too. Oh, I laughed about that one again. That Santa thing that one time we when we were kids. I remember this now. Now that I see that Santa gifts were from Santa. When we had that little Christmas, there was a gentleman who had a team of horses here, and we were all waiting in the hall for these gifts to be given out. And all of a sudden, you hear these bells, and the horses coming in, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you hear whoa, and then
Yeah.
and then Santa would come walking up the stairs, go oh 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 oh, big bag over his shoulder like this, and walk up into the hall, up to the front, and he would sit in his chair. And then that's when everything was given out, all those gifts.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Thank you for that reminder. Just remember that team of horses drawing in a sleigh and the bells on the harnesses. You could
Yeah.
hear them. You could hear them coming
Yeah.
up that road. Oh
Yeah.
man, beautiful, beautiful.
That's a good memory. Thank you.
Yeah, very welcome.
Yeah. Just hearing horses and coming down the road.
Yeah, that little Christmas was something really back then. It was really everybody went all out for that. It was like I said, there was food, all kinds of food, all kinds of desserts. Desserts. There was raisin pie, lemon meringue. Uh, forget what else there was. Like a few others, and then there's cakes, tarts, cookies, all the juice you want to drink. And oh, it was so nice, and there was something else that was really powerful stuff. I'm really glad that I remember some of those stories. Where are we now?
Yeah, I just
I'm,
see.
I'm looking for all the people. Are you there? Hey. But always remember, though, like again, like if you really want to know some of these songs that I've offered, and don't be shy. Give me a shout sometime. I'm on FB. And if you want to learn one of those songs, I can sing it for you on what do you call that thing again? Video chat.
Oh
Video
yeah.
chat. I can sing it for you. Don't be shy to ask. That's one of the things that I think we're afraid to do, is to ask. You might get mad, or it's too late in the night, depending on where you are. If in Newfoundland time, don't bother calling. No, I'm just kidding.
So we thank you for joining us tonight, and hope we brought some smiles. We brought some good feelings for you to carry you on and be safe, but be, as they say, be ready for the new you. That's what we were always acknowledging when we see that the 13 moon. It was meaning the newness. If you add 1 and 3 together, they're 4. So that was physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But most of the people have only done physical and mental. So we need to add in this year. Let's add in the spiritual part of who you are. And that will guide you safely to whatever is out there that's going to be, so that your emotional part will um, be a lot smoother ride. As we shared with you, that relationship with the spirit world, connection, and that support and that guidance. And so be ready, as they say, because every year you're as they say, all the seasons have given you a gift. It's like Christmas. They've given you a gift to grow physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so the last few years, it has really taught us some things about ourselves. And so know that that we're here. As we have shared that he'll share some songs. Only 5 minutes, so he'll share some songs, and we hope to see you next month. And so take care, and we'll see you soon.
I'm just joking about the 9 o'clock to 5:09:05. You call me anytime. I'm good. Anytime after 7, I'm good. PM, that is.
And remember, his bedtime is 10:30, 9:30. So take care.
Well, everybody, Happy New Year, everybody. Be safe out there. Please be safe. Always watch
Yes.
out for the warnings. Always watch out for those warnings. There are reasons why they put them out, and that is to protect us. Anyway, have a good one. Be careful. Be safe. Till we meet again. How about Mapi?
I just like to mention we're going to have a dream workshop coming up January 7th, because January was a time that renewal, and our dreams are very powerful. And traditionally, we always come together and share our dreams. And so we're going to be having it at Six Nation at the Gathering Place on January 7th. So I think that's a Saturday. So if you're interested, you can go to Grandmother's Voice, and there's more information regarding that event, because one of our speakers here in our community, he's sharing how our language connects us to the star world. So hopefully to see you there.
When is that again?
January 7th.
Is it in the evening?
It's during the day. It's on a weekend.
Geez, I don't know if I'm going to be around that day. I'll be around somewhere.
All righty.